I've got 20/20 and 20/20 vision in both eyes. I've already explained this. So when I get back from my walk, I'm gonna come bring him some water and some food. Only a few of those are viable, so that determines what I will actually see. Well, good afternoon, everyone. It's probably painfully obvious that I'm back home from my Pattaya trip. That beep you just heard is my timer, because with my Roy Orbison UV lights, UV glasses, I can barely read the screen. I have to go like this to see the numbers, because they're so freaking dark. But anyway, I got a plethora of things to talk about. But for now, I'm just going to get warmed up. I'm paying attention to where I'm walking. I'm testing out Dave's mic that Dave gave me. Dave, gotta love Thailand, Dave. I think works pretty good, but if it catches me breathing hard, I won't use it. But anyway, yeah, success, man. I'll tell you what, I'm stoked. I'm happy, ecstatic. I've got 20/20 and 20/20 vision in both eyes. I've already explained this, but I'm going to just rehash over it. Back in the day, injured my eye over a year ago in Vietnam. Okay, I'm coming up on the brothers here. There's two dogs. One's sitting outside. He lives just behind him. They've been barking. Last time I came by here, they were barking. But this time they're not barking. He's just sitting there breathing hard. And not barking. So apparently he looks ragged and fucking dying of thirst. Okay, he's all skittish. The gate's closed. So what I'm gonna do is yeah, he's been slobbering, drooling there. Yeah. So when I get back from my walk, I'm gonna come bring him some water and some food. But you recognize this area. I'm just getting reacclimated. Here they've got their mangoes bagged up. Keep the bugs and the birds away. Pretty cool. Yeah, I'm sure the mic is picking you guys up really good. Anyway, just to give you a complete breakdown, seriously detached my retina. There was very, very little left of all these, in layman's terms, cords or strands in the of the retina, from the cornea back to the base or the back of the eye, rear of the eye retina. They were ripped out, like, in the doctor's terms, were like pulling a tree out by the roots, and only a few roots were hanging. All of those are completely attached. So my retina, all of those are 100% reattached. But what is viable, in other words, what takes in light from the front, only a few of those are viable. So that determines what I will actually see. And that's why with corrective lenses, glasses, they can only go so far. If they cranked it up more, I would literally be looking like I'm looking cross-eyed. My focal point, my two focal points would merge and go overlap. So then I'd be messed up. And I was 20/20 with my left eye corrected with glasses, okay? But since I'd been researching second sight and different versions of lens surgery, I elected to do second sight. But basically, second sight is a trademark. And you've heard this before in another video. It's like in America, people say, "Hey, give me that Crescent wrench." But it's actually, Crescent is a brand name, just like Craftsman, Snap-on, Mac, any of these tools, they're brand names. But the actual name of the wrench is an open-end adjustable wrench. So when they say second sight, and you go to a second sight place, they're using their own lenses, same procedure that I had, but technically I did not have second sight surgery, but I did. I had lenses replaced the same way they do it at second sight, but it's not trademarked. So if that's a little foggy, that's okay. But with how bad my right eye was, I opted for a monofocal, and I chose long distance. So I can see down this road here, crystal clear, right? Down to this blue thing, or up, I should say, coming back, the blue gate, all this stuff here, all that's clear. But the closer I get, like if I put my hand in front of me, if I was trying to read a book, I could not read a book with this hand. Maybe. It would be, I can make them out, right? But I couldn't, like Evelyn Wood speed reading dynamics. Okay, I couldn't read it fast. So I opted for a mono lens, which was an optimum choice, because my left eye, which was already corrected to 20/20 with glasses, but I hate glasses, hate wearing them. I don't mind wearing sunglasses when I'm out on a boat or something like that. But frequently I would be bumping I'd bump into something with them while I'm working on a car or working on something, and it jams your bridge of your nose and it hurts, or you go from a warm place to a cool place, or vice versa. They fog up. They're just a pain in the ass. And they break. Sometimes they fall apart when you need them the most, right? So I wanted corrective vision done. I'd been researching that before I went to Vietnam. Now, a year after Vietnam, the way my eyes were fighting each other, I was getting headaches, depth perception was off. They were constantly trying to. So basically, my right eye was winning this. They're duking it out, right? My right eye was winning, so everything was freaking blurry up close. And so if I wanted to read something up close, I had to close my right eye. And so screw that noise. So I elected to have a progressive lens put in the left side. Bingo. Long distance, up to 6-8 inches from my face to read my phone, which we really shouldn't be doing anyway. But it's the modern age, right? So that's what I elected to do. And it turned out the left eye, what I call the good eye, that lens rotated 30 degrees, which I've already said, so this is a wash, rinse, repeat, but for those that haven't seen it, that's what happened. So I ended up having that left eye operated on again. So 8 days planned trip, surgery 2 days in a row, one eye then the next, and then a 1 week follow-up, and then boom, I'm supposed to be on an airplane back to Chiang Rai. No, my follow-up, I go in, holy shit, I was seeing all blur and halos coming off of lights. So we need to operate, and we need to operate now. So we did. I said, let's do it today. And she says, okay. And then she looked at her schedule and said, I'm booked. I'm booked all day. So we have to do it tomorrow, which was a Saturday. So I did it. Forget the days and the dates and the numbers, because I get them screwed up on a normal day. So they couldn't do it that day. They did it the next. And then I had a week follow-up appointment. And then so I immediately went from the hospital back to my room, booked the room, and booked the flight. Cost, not an issue. It's got to be done. I wanted to come home. I said, I'll just get this flight back and then rest up a bit and come back. And she said, no, you have to do it now. Otherwise, it'll be seated, not fused, but kind of seated, and then it's a worse surgery. So the next day they went in, and that's why I had to lay on my back for 48 hours. But I did it 2 more extra days, so 96 hours. Yeah, 96 hours. I laid in bed face up. Not looking at my phone, just listening to it. So that's basically it. And fortunately, I'm 20/20 in those eyes. And I'm just freaking ecstatic. I mean, I got more than I had hoped for. And so when I go back for my 1 month, I've already said this, but in a different video, she said, so now you're good to fly, you can go back to America. Do you have somebody back there that you can have your follow-up with? And I said, I'm not going back to America. I live here. What? I said, yeah, I live in Chiang Rai. Holy smokes. She didn't say that, but I did. And so I'm going back, and why? Because that's the surgeon that operated on me. That's the surgeon that operated on me 3 times in 1 week. I trust her and her staff. There's other information, background information that you've probably already seen, so I'm not going to repeat that, because I'm coming up on my self-imposed 15-minute mark. I'm about 13 now. So I want to kind of adhere to that. So I'm going to do 2 videos today wearing the same shirt, but the next one will be without the microphone. It'll be just a phone. So we can together, collectively, see what sounds better from up close. Because I know it works from a distance. I've tested that. I've walked, 50 feet away, and I've talked to my phone. And I go back and I'm like, holy Toledo, that works. That's pretty cool, I think it's pretty bitchin'. So, like I said, I'm coming up on my 15-minute mark. So, success. I can't say enough about the hospital, the staff, the facilities itself, the professionalism. They've done a lot of work on Mitch there. I started having surgeries there because I lived there when I had my first surgery. And like ET, I tend to want to go home. So that's what I've been doing. So that, I'm going to say thanks for watching. I appreciate all your support. I'm tipping my hat, you know. Thank you. I'm wearing my Roy Orbison K-pop glasses. They're really dark. But anyway, thanks for watching. And I'll take this mic off here and on the phone, and then we'll try it without the mic. And I have another subject I want to finish. I started it 3 or 4 videos ago, but I didn't finish it. But it's going to be all about that topic. Thanks for watching. Bye.